What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and as you guys can tell from the title, I've got a pretty good video for y'all today. A few weeks ago, I talked about the neighbor feud. I guess it was like 2 months now. You know, time flies by, Jesus. And since then, things have escalated quite a bit between my neighbor and my other neighbor, you know? And basically, it ended up that my neighbor's Hellcat, the $70,000 car, ended up getting vandalized pretty bad, and I wonder who it was. Whoever it was definitely thought they were gonna get away with it, forgot that they live in a time where security cameras exist. And, you know, that's just the way the ball bounces. Regardless, I figured it would be a fantastic little update for y'all, so before we get into it, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. The next person that moves into your neighborhood is gonna be a Karen, and let's get into it. Alright, so as you know, my neighbor in the last video was very upset about the loud car, and ever since then, anytime he would be driving it, anytime he would leave, so basically every weekday, she would be out there yelling about it, and you know, it just was what it was. I could basically time my watch to it. I said that last time. Our neighbor wouldn't stop, you know. She could hear the engine in the middle of cooking dinner, dude, doing heart surgery. It didn't matter. Whatever it was, she would stop everything, go out and scream at the car. He would be gone. She would just yell at the air for a little bit. She kind of looked like, I don't know how many of you guys have seen the Simpsons movie. You know, when the old man's just like, Eepa! Eepa! You know, screaming that for no reason while just staring at the sky. That's kind of what she was looking like. And it was annoying, but at the same time, it was also pretty entertaining. Like, sure, she would just yell for a minute after he would leave, but whatever. I found it entertaining. I just thought crazy people are funny. I don't know if she was trying to, like, curse the car, you know, do some like some Harry Potter curse stuff. I don't know, but she was yelling something. Our neighbor was kind of annoyed at it at that point. He would be like, dude, this lady really won't stop yelling at my car. But, you know, he would kind of say it with, like, that annoyed laugh where it's like, I wish she would stop, but at the same time, if I got annoyed with it, my day would be ruined, so I'm just gonna laugh at it instead. Keep in mind, he didn't really do anything, as I said. He was just kind of doing his thing with his car that nobody else had a problem with, and she decided to turn it into World War III. But regardless, he would just kind of talk about how annoying it was, and like, you know, he wishes that he could just go to work without somebody yelling at him every day. He made jokes about, like, you know, the entire reason he wanted to be his own boss is so he wouldn't be getting screamed at 9 a.m., but here he was. Regardless, you know, I don't talk to him often whenever I see him walking to the mail and whatnot. Over 2 months, I think I had talked to him maybe 3-4 times. And on one of these, he starts telling me that, like, you know, he thinks he's gonna get a new car. He wants another car. His wife said he can get another car. And I'm like, all right, dude, that's really awesome. You know, he's really into American cars. So he went and he bought a new Jeep, a special type of Jeep called a Trackhawk, or Blackhawk, Trackhawk, I think. And, you know, that's a pretty fast car. Whatever it is, I know it's loud and I know it's fast. I can tell you that much because he was flexing it on me, telling me it was the coolest thing he's ever seen, and I rode in it, and sitting in the thing when it launched was great. You know, he ended up parking that one in his garage where the Hellcat used to be parked because he figured it was newer, it needed to be protected, it needed to be tucked away from the harsh elements of Nevada. Really, though, leaving your cars in the sun here basically just, like, cooks everything, even stuff that really shouldn't be cooked. Like, I know my parents used to have to replace the rubber on the car, like, every 2 years because it would just get so sun-rotted. But at that point, you know, he didn't know what to do with his Hellcat, so I guess he just decided to park it in the driveway, and, I don't know if I would exactly sign off on that idea. I don't know if that's what I would call a well-thought-out decision. It's pretty ballsy to park a $70,000 car in your driveway. Driveway. I'm not saying that I live in a bad neighborhood, you know, I don't think that I do. I think I live in a pretty good place. That being said, it's not the type of place where I would necessarily want to leave a $70,000 car just chilling. I wouldn't ever do that personally, you know, but hey, I'm not my neighbor, so it's not my issue. I especially wouldn't do it if there was somebody that lived very close to me that had, like, kind of stated their hatred of that car. To me, that just kind of seems like setting yourself up to have something bad happen. But hey, whatever, dude, everybody gets to make their life choices, much like the make of his car. Being American, we're American, we get to be free and park our cars in the driveway, damn it, because that's what we want to do, America, pew pew. And, you know, for about a week, everything is basically okay. He's driving his Hellcat to and from work just because, you know, he didn't want to put too many miles on his new car. And my neighbor obviously isn't very happy with that. But whatever, they have an argument and he says, do you want me to drive my other car instead? And she's like, yes. And he starts driving the Jeep to work instead. And obviously, it's loud. It's basically as loud, if not louder, you know. But for whatever reason, the Karen's like, that's better. I think she just kind of felt like she got a victory, so she was trying to take it. and everything's going all right. They kind of stop getting yelled at for a little bit. And he's driving that for about another week, and then I guess he decides to take the Hellcat once just to make sure that everything's still going, like he wanted to drive it, keep the battery, all that good stuff. I don't know. I'm not the biggest car guy in the world, but I do know you're supposed to drive your cars every now and then to make sure that everything's working the way it's supposed to be working. So he takes it, and I guess Karen thought that he just would never drive the car he owns again. I don't know what really gave her that idea. Like, even if he got another car, obviously this car was going to get driven at some point. Even if he was going to sell it, it was going to turn on and leave at some point. She was going to hear it. And even if it was annoying her, it's not her right to tell him he can't drive it. But like, regardless, even if in her mind, you know, he has to sell it now, like it was gonna have to turn on. Well, she comes out, you know, screaming about how much noise it's making, and she thought that they had an understanding and a truce, and it's so ridiculous that he would even have the nerve to drive the car again. Yeah, the nerve of the guy to drive the car he owns, you know, what an absolute insane idea. And this time, they're kind of arguing back and forth, and she's like, well, I'm gonna make sure that you can't move that car tomorrow, do you understand? And they're kind of doing that back and forth while they're arguing, and he had kind of said some stupid stuff, so he kind of thinks that, like, she doesn't mean anything by that. Nothing actually is going to be done to the car. Obviously, no one would be dumb enough to say they're gonna vandalize an expensive, like, $70,000 car and then do it. So he thinks it's weird, but whatever, he just kind of brushes it off. And you know, at this point, me personally, just to be safe, I would have parked my car in the garage, but for whatever reason, he decides to park it in the driveway when he gets back from work, and he goes inside and he leaves it in the driveway. And the next morning, he goes to take the Hellcat to work just to like show her who's boss, you know, pretty petty situation, I'm not gonna lie. And the Karen had like moved her SUV to block him in, you know, she had parked her SUV so he couldn't get out, and he's annoyed and he asks her to move it. And you would have thought that he asked for her soul, bro. He's like, are you kidding me, dude? Are this really seriously? Oh my gosh, there's nowhere for me to park. Keep in mind, her driveway is completely empty. Like, she was just looking for a convenient excuse. And he starts being like, look, I just need you to move it so I can leave. And she goes, no, I told you that you're not going to be able to move that car, so I'm not moving mine. And he goes, all right, well, I'm going to have to get you towed then. And she's like, all right, I dare you. I double dog dare you. And I guess, you know, out of everything that this Karen thought she was fantastic at, parking laws and knowing about, like, how they actually work definitely was not something she was strong in, because believe it or not, if you block somebody's driveway, they can totally tow you away. Like, that's totally something that you're allowed to do. So at that point, he calls a tow truck. And before anyone calls him a jerk, you know, he did ask. He did give her a chance to move the car before he does it. He can't leave his house, you know, she said go ahead and tow it. And the tow truck comes and it tows away her SUV, you know, and literally nothing illegal about what he did, but it gets towed. Well, as they're setting up the tow truck, of course, Karen comes outside to be like, what's going on here? Are you kidding me? You can't move this car, like it's allowed to be parked here. But instead of screaming at my neighbor, she's screaming at the tow truck guy now. I think she thought that like she could intimidate him into backing down, and then the car would have to stay where it was. And he just kind of starts doing his job. You know, I've watched a couple of the tow truck shows on TV. Not that that's realistic. I don't know anyone who actually drives them, but I feel like that's a job where they're pretty used to getting yelled at. Like, a tow truck driver has definitely been screamed at by a fair amount of people, and I don't really feel like that's a good person to like put your will out on, you know. The reason Karens win in like a Target is because they're usually screaming at a 16-year-old who it's his first job, who has like no work experience and has never been in this situation before. It's not because they're actually smart. So he just keeps going about his business, setting it up to get it towed. And her excuse is that the street is public property, right? And so therefore she should be able to park on public property and nothing is wrong with that, even though she's blocking the driveway. So she also says that like her brother's a lawyer, and so for that reason she's also allowed to park here. And I think like in Karen brain, she thought that because her brother was a lawyer and like worked in the legal system, that she got like a free parking pass to park anywhere, you know, or that laws just didn't really apply. And I don't really know how that was gonna go in her head, but, you know, for some reason she thought that that was gonna get her out of trouble. I don't think that's how being related to a lawyer works. Excuse me, officer, this bank robbery is actually allowed. My cousin's an attorney, so you're gonna have to let this slide. I took 150 grand, but guess what? My cousin, the attorney, yeah, gets me out of this one. Like, that's not how it works. Anyways, there's just absolute chaos going on right now, and, you know, they're arguing back and forth, and she realizes she's not gonna go or win, so she leaves, and her SUV gets towed away. My neighbor goes to work, and the drama is over now, or at least should be. Like, everything should be chillaxed. Clearly, this Karen has met her match, that she did not expect anyone to put their foot down this hard, but my neighbor is also very stubborn. I would venture to say he's a little bit of a male Karen. Dare I say a Darren? But for some reason, an obvious one, just never being able to take an L in her life, she decides that that's not going to be the end of it. She's going to have to get her revenge. I don't know how you could be more drastic than trying to block somebody in their house and literally prevent them from leaving. But she manages to do it, bro. She manages to get way more extreme than just blocking somebody in. She wasn't kidding when she said that he wasn't going to move the car again. I guess somehow in Karen's mind, the only revenge suitable at that point would be ruining the car itself. Clearly that's the most logical conclusion to come to. He had me towed for blocking his driveway, so I better ruin the car. That's just the way it should be. I'm Karen. If that's not the worst idea for revenge I've ever heard, I don't know why, because, if you do get caught, which chances are you are, let's just be honest here, you're gonna have to pay for that, dude, and I don't want to be the one who has to pay for a $70,000 car. Call me crazy, but I feel like pranks are only really funny if it doesn't cost people an arm or a leg, literally or metaphorically. Let's not make anyone lose a real limb here either. That's just the only way that I think it's pretty funny. Other than that, you're just kind of mean if you do it. If you just decide to roam around just making people lose a bunch of money for no reason. And one night while everybody's asleep, something happens. My neighbor, who has security cameras, Frank, his security cameras are there. They're recording, and a masked person walks up into the driveway and spray paints over the camera, And at that point, you can't really see what's happening anymore. This super mysterious masked person basically took things way too far. Whoever it was, we have no idea who this masked person was. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Absolutely no idea. Proceeded to, after the cameras got covered, pour sugar in the gas tank of this car. Along with that, you had to break open the gas tank. It wasn't one that just kind of opened, so she had to have broken that. So the alarm started going off, but that didn't prevent the masked person from pouring sugar into the gas tank. I know not all of you are super car people, I'm not the biggest car guy in the universe either, but I will tell you I know for a fact that is awful. That is really, really, really bad. Basically, once you do that, car no worky anymore unless you get a bunch of stuff repaired, a lot of very, very expensive stuff too. It's not like you can just get an oil change at that point and it's new to go. It's gonna cost a bunch of money, especially on a car like that. Obviously, the next day, this becomes super obvious to my neighbor because he goes to drive it. It won't turn on. It won't do anything. He goes, see that thing is broken, and just basically is aw, crap. Somehow he had slept through the car alarm going off when she had broken open, that thing on the back of the car. I don't really remember hearing it either, but who knows, dude? Who knows? And at that point, he doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is that someone's put sugar in his gas tank. As awful as it is, people have done that before as a quote-unquote prank to people. So he goes to check the camera, and at that point, he sees somebody kind of walk up and cover the camera, so he calls the cops. And the cops are involved. They come and watch, and they're kind of looking at the fact that whoever this was, obviously wanted this car specifically because it didn't happen to anybody else. They had spray painted the cameras. Whoever this was very clearly targeting this car. And, he asks if any of the neighbors have cameras, and basically every single person in this neighborhood has cameras, I do, I know the people on the other side do, basically everybody does. And, while obviously this mystery vandalism person was clearly very, very intelligent, they brought a mask, they covered the cameras, they were really covering their tracks, they watched a lot of Law and Order before trying to get away with this one. They forgot that, sometimes other people have cameras too, bro. It doesn't just matter if you cover the ones at the house you're doing the bad thing out of. Everybody else also sees you doing it. I know I can be an idiot. Absolutely, I can be dumb. But when the cops come knocking on my door, I didn't think they were there for me. I'm like, what's up? And they ask to see my footage, and I say yes, obviously, so they see mine. I don't really know what they're looking for. I'm not with them when they're looking at it. They're just kind of I pull it up on my phone and let them scrub through it. They go to, my other neighbors. They go to a couple other people and check all of theirs. And after theirs, I'm curious, so I start searching through the night before, and I can't believe this is what happened, bro. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Clear as day on my driveway camera, you see this Karen leave her house out of the front door, put the mask on and then cross the street, all right? And once she crosses the street, my driveway cameras, none of my cameras can see her anymore. And, you know, that's all there is. You kind of see the flashing of the lights, like the light echoing off the houses. I know light doesn't echo. You guys know what I mean, like on the camera. And then, you know, this masked person goes back into Karen's house. Obviously, at that point, it's very, very apparent to everybody who had done it. You know, it doesn't take long for the police to crack the case. And how do you not notice that, Karen? Like, first of all, this was already pretty dumb. If you wanted to get away with this, you shouldn't have walked out of your house without the mask on. The bare minimum you could have done is worn the disguise the whole time. And B, you just shouldn't have done it. Like, huh? Obviously, it was well thought out enough to, like, spray paint the cameras. You know, you thought you were being some type of absolute genius, but you forgot the important part, of, you know, other people than just that guy have cameras. Seriously, like, if it was the year 2001 and security cameras were still super rare, then I get it. But, like, basically everyone and their mom has a Ring doorbell, you know? Or at least somebody in the neighborhood will see something on some type of camera, bro. I also love that, like, you know, she really did put the mask on outside of the house. Outside of the house. Like, come on. At least give yourself a chance to deny that it's you. But nope, they literally have footage of you putting on the disguise. If that isn't the most Scooby-Doo villain thing you've ever heard of, I don't know what is. Alright guys, I'm going to interrupt the video for just 1 second. On screen now is an Xbox gift card. For those of you that don't know, I give one of these away in every single video I post here on this channel as a way to say thank you to you guys for supporting me. For those of you that already do it, then, you know, this isn't for you. Thank you so much. You guys are absolute units. Take it if you got here. Amen. Amen. It's for y'all. But this plug right here is asking you guys to subscribe, press the notification button, you know, for those of you that haven't. And, yeah, on that note, I'll shut up and get back to the video. Thanks. Anyways, at that point, the police decide to go question her. You know, they hadn't talked to her yet, and apparently within like 2 questions of them being like, do you know what happened? That's funny because we think it's you. She cracked and she spills absolutely everything, bro. So it's not even like she had a good cover story. She just really expected that no one would come ask any questions. As if the neighbor would get in his car, it wouldn't work. He'd be like, oh no, rats, looks like my son accidentally spilt Coke in the gas tank, and that's why there's enough sugar to kill a full-grown elephant. YOLO. Anyways, like, honestly, she probably just thought it was gonna be a harmless prank, you know, more of an annoyance than anything. But at that point, they kind of have this girl who's admitted, this woman, I guess I should say, admitted to ruining this car. So they go back to my other neighbor, Frank, and they're like, do you want to press charges? And this is where he was a way better person than me. Honestly, you total, like, my $70,000 car, not that I have one, and, you know, I'm definitely gonna want to be, like, sending you to some type of punishment. Not jail, you know, I'm gonna want you to pay me back more than anything, I guess. But he decides like he's not gonna press charges as long as they agree to replace it. And at this point, and Karen and her family don't really have a choice. The options are either accept the terms and pay to replace the car, or, you know, she's out of here. And they agree to get him a new car with no sugar in the gas tank. Not that they have much of a choice at that point. Like, they either have to get him a new car or she goes to jail. I can't imagine how that conversation must have gone down, bro. Like, all right, sit down, honey. You know, I made a $75,000 mistake, but everything's gonna be okay. Like, literally tried to go Ninja Karen with a mask, spray paint security cameras, you know, tiptoe across the street as if no one was gonna see her. Literally tried to have a Mission Impossible moment, and then ended up costing your family 75 bandos. I feel like, honestly, the towing should have been the end of it. You should have given it up there, but, you know, no. She had to treat it like a side mission in GTA and just take things way too far. Life isn't a video game, Karen. You get in trouble when you do things like this. Regardless, they agree to get him a new car. You know, it's not cheap, but it's better than jail, especially because we all know Karen wouldn't do good in jail, bro. You know, I feel like every Karen has this illusion that they do really well in prison. They'd run the yard until they get there and, like, one mean person looks at them weird and they're like, get me out of here. I regret everything. And it's like, yeah, you're not running the yard now. The best part of it is that the neighborhood wasn't necessarily on her side either. Like, she really thought, you know, somehow that everyone was going to be on her side. But regardless of whatever she thought, people actually like to sleep knowing that their cars are safe in the driveway. Not that, like, Ninja Karen's going to come maybe sugar in the gas tank them because she doesn't like them. I'm pretty sure no one's really okay with just, like, bricking somebody's car. That's just something that's kind of been off limits in my opinion. Like, if somebody came to me and started flexing the fact that they totaled somebody's car on purpose, I'd be like, that's not very cool, dude. You know, maybe that's just me. Especially after our cameras were the ones that proved it. I really don't know why she thought that everyone was just gonna, like, treat her normally, you know, and the neighborhood kind of shunned her after that. I wasn't really involved in that just because I don't really talk to many people anyways. But, you know, she ended up keeping to herself for a bit, trying to hold out, and, I would say about a week later, I went to check the mail, and sure enough, there's a for sale sign in the house that she's used to live in, still lives in. I don't know, I haven't seen them. I don't know if they left or if they're waiting for the house to sell or what, but for whatever reason, the house is for sale now. I don't know if that's because she wants to move or what the dealio and the bealio is, but either way, they won't be living here for long. Karens, I guess, are just prone to moving out of shame for these things. They don't care. They're just like, ayo, whatever I can do to just send it, I guess I'm gonna do. Knowing her reign of breaking cars in the neighborhood definitely has made everybody feel a little bit more relaxed. I definitely like sleeping knowing that nothing weird is going to happen. Moral of the story, I guess, is don't try to ruin a car unless you want to have to move your entire family when you have kids. Yeah, that's the moral of the story. You know, great morals here on the channel. Anyways, that's the update that I'm hoping you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it was about what you guys were expecting. You know, if you did like it, I would really appreciate you pressing the like button and commenting the word Karen down below just so I know that you guys enjoyed it. I put some time into it, you know. I really tried to make it detailed and long. If you like stuff like this, definitely subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss another video. You can check out the Spotify link in the description if you want to listen to Spotify story times on the go. You can also check out the merch link down there. You know, I'm pretty biased, but it's cool if you ask me. And other than that, use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. You get a discount. Everyone's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And yeah, other than that, I think that's going to do it for the video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.